Okay. Hello, Andrea. How are you?
Fine, great. Thanks for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure.
Now, thanks for accepting our invite and welcome to Let's Talk About Data. This is our, if I'm not wrong, 34 and 35th episode. And our today's topic is one of the most burning topic around since AI era has started and this data product thing has come into the picture. People are going towards from centralized to decentralized approach. Yesterday, I had a session with one of a very senior guy from Poland, if I'm not wrong, uh, on centralized to the journey from centralized to decentralized. So we already discussed that the moment you come toward a decentralized, you need to build data products. Now, what data products are? That's a question mark, right? Like data product can be centralized, data warehouse can be a data product. One dashboard can be a data product. One ecosystem can be a data product. So there are different definitions, right? Then there is a data as a product, right?
Yeah,
All those definitions are flying over. And I think you are the right and perfect person. So introduce yourself, your experience, whatever you have done. We just had a catch up couple of days back. I was amazed with your experience. So share your experience, share your background before we embark on this journey. Yep.
absolutely, absolutely. So my name is Andrea Gioia. I am a partner and CTO of 𝗵𝗁𝗃, that is a consultancy firm based in Italy, specialized in data management and artificial intelligence. We have operation all around the EMEA region, helping customer both in delivering their data project and data initiative, and also advising them to help in designing, defining their data strategy, ensuring the alignment between the goals of the data strategy and the goals of the upstream business strategy, and downstream guarantee the alignment between the data strategy and all the data initiative that compose the data management portfolio within the company. I am also a co-founder of blindata.io, that is a spin-off of 𝗵𝗁𝗃. It's a data catalog based on knowledge graph that not only manage the metadata, the technical metadata, but also manage the conceptual model and create a link between the conceptual model, the ontology, with the technical metadata and the underlying data, creating a virtual knowledge graph that can provide context to make data product interoperable across domain, and to help both human agent in get sense of the meaning of the data, but also, and in the future more and more, also to provide the right context to the AI agent in order to extract
Yeah.
information from the data and cooperate in agentic workflow. I have more than 20 years of experience in the field of consultancy in data management. And aside my work, I am a member of the scientific committee of DAMA Italy, that is the international organization on data management, and I am one of the main maintainer of the data product the data product descriptor specification, that is a specification supported by the Open Data Mesh initiative. The Open Data Mesh initiative is an initiative that aims to support tools, open source tools, and open source standard to support the paradigm of managing data as a product, or more in general, the paradigm of data mesh. The data product descriptor, in particular, is a specification to describe a data product, all the metadata correlated to a data product, in order to create an identity card of the data product and make the data product understandable and usable from all the potential consumer that want to process the data. So basically, that's everything about me. Now, there is one more thing. I have just published a book with facts on managing data product that has been published at the end of November. So there's also a thing that took a lot of my time last year, and I'm very proud of.
So you can share the link. I think you have shared the link with me. Just share it again on my LinkedIn. Once I will upload this session, this podcast, I will put into the description.
Okay, that's perfect. Yes, share the link, please. Spread the word. And
Yeah.
basically, this is the cover of the
Awesome.
book, and is available on Becket's website, but of course also on Amazon. So you can buy where you prefer.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much. So it's a very comprehensive background which you have given to us. And I think this session will be a very interactive session with me and with you. And I'm expecting that once I leave this session, I will really understand what data product is. And I hope our audience will also take advantage from this session. So whole aim of our this session is about defining what data product is. As I just mentioned before you started, that world is moving toward federated approach slash decentralized approach slash all those things that access should be governed by domains or product owners and XYZ. So we will touch base what is data product, and I also would like to jump onto what is data product ownership and who can be the owners. Can it be only business data product, and what is the importance of technical data product owners, which is a new concept coming. You must have checked my LinkedIn that one of the posts someone started that DPM, data practice management, that is
Okay.
coming,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there was data governance, there was data management. So these two are the main two pillars of data, right? You create products and you manage it by data governance. But who is the one who is maintaining? That piece was missing. Now that piece is coming because a lot of small data product will come into decentralized. So this centralized team is a need. So let's start with data product.
What
Andrew,
is data product?
what is data product? Yeah.
Of course, there are out there are a lot of definitions, and
Yeah.
basically all definitions are correct. No, it's just to set the stage, and then if
Nah,
you comply,
don't
if you
confuse my audience. Not everything is correct.
no,
There's,
but now I will give my definition that is
yeah,
on which I based on my book and all my
yeah,
consideration. Of
yeah.
course, giving my definition that is very opinionated, I don't want to say that other definitions are wrong. Each definition is correct, and then you build a theory on top of that definition. I build my
Okay.
book on top of my definition. So
Okay.
if it resonates with you, maybe you find some interesting stuff in this podcast, and even in the book, if you want to delve deeper in the topic. If you are looking at the data product from a very different angle, maybe there are better definitions for you, and that you can use other stuff or other resources. So for me, to make it very simple, and then we can expand the definition, but to keep it very simple, a data product is first and foremost is a software application that is in which the functionality exposed to the potential consumer are driven by the data itself. So the data in that in the application that we call data product is not just a byproduct, like for example in a transactional application in which of course there is the data that support the application, because every time there is a transaction generated through the interfaces of the API, you need to keep track of that transaction. So you write the transaction down into a database and you have data, but data in this case is just a byproduct. It's something that supports the functionalities. Instead, a data product is not a transactional application or any kind of application, but the functionalities are there because there are the data, are built upon the data. So for example, a recommendation system is an example of a data product because the functionality is to recommend something, and you can implement that functionality only if you have some set of data managed by the application inside. So it's not just a byproduct. It's not just a repository in which you write the data that come out from the transaction that you manage, but it's the foundation on which you build your functionality. You build the functionality of your data product. I see two main classes of data product. No, so there are data product that expose through their functionality some derivative that come from the usage of the data. So, for example, a dashboard can be a data product, a recommending system could be a data product, because they are not exposing directly the data they manage, but they expose some functionality built on top of this data. No? So the recommendation that I made, for example, or the visualization of the data to a nice dashboard. And this is the kind of data product that I call the data application. So it's something that uses the data to provide a functionality that that implement a specific business case, that implement a specific need. Then there are what I call the pure data product. The pure data products are data products that do not expose some derivative functionality from the data, but expose the data itself. So expose directly the data set. It's not aligned with a specific use case where a specific needs, but provide the data that can then be reused by, for example, different data applications. So data products then create some specific, implement some specific business cases in a multiple situation. So are the building block of our data infrastructure that we can recompose because they expose just data, they do not implement a specific use case, that we can recompose to support multiple use cases. I'm concentrate my attention specifically on the pure data products. So this building block, no, because it's the building element, it's the atomic unit on which we redesign in the managing data as a product paradigm, our data architecture, shifting from a monolithic architecture, for example, a big data warehouse, big data lake, in a modular data architecture in which the data management solution is built by a composition of pure data product, of modules that can be recomposed over time to implement different use cases. So you said in the introduction that, for example, we can consider a data lake a data product. Of course, a data lake will be a type of pure data product, no? Because it does not implement functionality on top of data, just expose the data. But for me, another important characteristic of the data products, of the pure data products, is the fact that they should fit the cognitive capability of the team that implement the product itself. So more in general, should be developed applying the product management principle. And one of the key principles for me in product management is that the product cannot be over complex, cannot exceed the cognitive capability of the team that implement the product itself. So large data warehouse is not really a data product for me. It's better to redesign the large data warehouse as a composition of product, because the large data warehouse is a monolithic solution. Of course, it's an application, but it's too big to be managed by one central team. No person in the team when the data warehouse or the data lake became too big, can understand all the details, can own and have ownership on all the details. And these unmanaged complexity that generate cognitive load over time, when there is a lot of push to develop new functionality on top of the data lake, of the data warehouse, generate very complex system with a lot of technical debt inside, with not clear ownership boundaries, and so became something that over time became unmanageable. So data products are very important for me, especially pure data product, to create a modular solution that can be maintained and evolved over time without having the necessity every 3, 4, 5 years to rebuild from scratch all the solution, because it's too much complex for the team that have to develop.
Question. So I think now we can jump into the interactive part, and I love the what you can say, the component you have brought it up. Like you have break down into two pieces data product. One is data application, and second is data as a product. This is awesome. So I've picked up this one, because I was also struggling to explain people that what is data product and what is data as a product, because end of the day, data as a product is also a data product. Right. So when I say generic data product, you correctly mentioned it's a data application. So generic, for me, generic is where you will have an end application, which can be a dashboard, which can be a front end static, some kind of thing which you consume to take a decision.
Yeah,
That is a
exactly.
data applications. Thanks for that. And secondly, you are right. When you prepare a data in such a way that you don't have an end application, but someone else pull that data or you push it to, so they can build their own something dashboard on top of it, or maybe they do some more transformation onto it and then use it. So that's a very clear. So I can easily create a hierarchy now. So this can become a taxonomy. Data product can have a data application and data as a product. So we have these two categories. Now, when I say, coming back to the point, when I say all these are data products, so for me, let me also redefine my definition is data product is something which can generate a value for you. There's no doubt about it. My four pillars of any data product is a data product you should be able to question the data product. Data product should be able to answer it. Based on the answers, you should be able to take actions, and your actions should have some value attached to it. So these
Absolutely.
four pieces has to be there, as else no point creating that data product. Now, when I say that data lake or warehouse can be a data product, because I was referring of the world of centralized data warehousing, where we used to have global cost, and we used to say that let's create a data warehouse in a centralized place and start exposing to rest of the world so they can take their decisions. So that
Mhm.
was a very reactive approach, I would say, because you are creating something from scratch. You are building bill in mon 3NF warehouse and on, or maybe a dimensional model on top of it, and then you expose it and let people analyze that data to create a use case on top of it. So at
Mhm.
that time, I call that as a data product as well, but value generation was not a solid. That is the reason Gartner says 75% projects are on shelves. As I
Mhm.
mentioned in my yesterday podcast as well, the new name of failure is putting on shelf. You don't call it a failure, but you put it on shelf, right? So that's
Yeah,
one of the biggest challenge. So I just redefined my definition that data product is something has to have a value. Now,
absolutely.
yeah, right. Now let's break down this into multiple pieces just for the understanding of people, right? Let me ask a direct question. Can one dashboard, which is creating a value, can be declared as a data product, considering backend data preparation is separate piece? See, when you create
Yeah,
a data product, there's a data preparation piece and there's a exposing piece, right? When you do a
absolutely.
data preparation, who knows that upcoming new use cases also need the same data, so they can consume it and prepare a data product. So can
Yeah.
one dashboard become a data product as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Of course, it's not a pure data product. It's not a data product that can be reused for multiple use cases because just
Correct.
expose the data. Is a data product that consume the data and produce some derivative functionality upon the data. In the case
Hmm.
of the dashboard, provide a visualization of the data, but can be considered a data product. Of course, if it is developed according to the data product management principles. So not all the dashboard can be considered a data product. To be considered a data product, a dashboard should have a clear ownership. So a data product owner should have a life cycle. So it's not developed with the project principle. So I take the requirement, I implement the dashboard, and then the project is finished and everything is successfully if I finish the project on time and on budget. But no, if we consider a dashboard a real product, should have a life cycle. So the data product owner that guide the development of the dashboard, it's not just implementing a set of predefined requirements, but try to resolve a specific problem from the business, and over time it evolves the product. So the dashboard is something that is living through its life cycle. So For example, a project is something that I need a dashboard to show financial results. This is a project that have a time frame, and then it is developed and released. A dashboard that can be considered a product instead try to help the CFO to keep in control about, for example, R&D activity. So it's not a set of requirements, it's a problem specification. And the product owner try to evolve the dashboard in a iterative way through its life cycle to resolve in the better way possible this problem specification. So in this case, a dashboard can be considered a data product. It's the class of data product that I call data application, because it's implementing a specific use case. In terms of value, you are right. We implement the data products, any kind of data products, only if they produce value to the business, value to the organization. Of course, this value sometimes is more directly measurable, and sometimes are less directly measurable. For example, in a data product like a dashboard that implements a specific use case, is easy to measure the value of that business case, no? Because it's the business, it's something that implement a requirement or resolve a problem from the business, for the business. So I can measure the value of the problem, and I can evaluate what is the value of the solution that I have produced. Instead, pure data products do not implement a specific use case, but provide the data in order to make this data easy to be integrated with other data or make it reusable. So the value is more potential in use, because I can implement very quickly new use case by recombining, but they are not tied to a specific business case. So it's more a potential value that they create within the organization. Okay. For me, this potential value, I finish this, is very important. For me, this potential value is very, very important, because a lot of people say, but if the value, the actual value of the data comes from use, and the use is only there when some business user effectively use the data product. So only data application, we can implement only data application. Why implement a pure data product? The problem is that when you have a large portfolio of data application without having underlying pure data product that provide the data asset in a way that are reusable for multiple use cases, you have to re-implement for each data application the integration work from scratch. So maybe you have to integrate the data of the customer from the CRM or from other system multiple times from multiple applications that need to use that data. And this, of course, not something that is from economical point of view, it's not sustainable, because you are replicating this effort of data integration for each data product that you need to implement. The better way is, when I have a use case and I need to implement a data application, first of all, I try to define what are the pure data products that I need to implement in order to support that data application. Maybe some of them are already there in my portfolio. I implement these pure data products that can then be reused also for other use cases, and then I implement my data application on top of these pure data products. So I've implemented the use case at end in a use case driven way to produce value, but I implemented it also create and enlarge my portfolio of pure data products, so create potential for the future, for the use of the work that I've made for implementing that data application.
So we are talking about two things, right? We are saying that if we are creating a data product as a passive data product, right? It's an indirect impact. So won't that be considered as data as a product? Because so actually similar question comes that you are creating a dashboard which does not have a direct impact, but it is created for someone else to look at and do something else to take a decision. So I am onto a page where if nobody is looking to that dashboard for direct actions, then we should not create the dashboard. Then we should give them access onto the data, make this data as a product, and let them pull. Rather than they go onto a dashboard, export into an Excel. I think that's a wrong practice. They should not do that. So we are on the same page. Now, second thing, you just mentioned, I just got confused. You're saying if you create some dashboard, you mentioned and it is not used, something you said, and you said that is not a data product. What do you mean by that? That we create a data preparation layer and we create a dashboard and we don't declare it as a data product? Isn't it everything which comes out of OLTP system and create a dashboard based on, of course, a value? Everything is data product, right?
No, I don't think that everything that create value from data is a data product, because as I said before, it's very important to consider an application or a package data a data product. It's very important that the development process of the item that we are calling data product follow the data product management principle.
Okay,
So here we have the distinction.
Yeah.
We have the distinction between projects and product. No, a project is something that is focused on implementing a specific set of requirements in a specific time frame with a specific budget. So I have the budget, I have the time frame, I have the requirement, I have a team. The team implement the requirement. If the implementation is performed on time and on budget, the project is successful, and the team then is reallocated to the next project. So here we have basically two problems. The project is focused on the output, on doing the thing in the right way, not really focused on the output, and there is not clear ownership after the first release. No, usually projects pass to the maintenance team after their first deployment. Products are totally a different kind of beast. Product is not focusing on implementing a requirement, but are focused on solving a specific business problem.
No, hold on. Pause. Pause. Sorry. You are saying someone is building a project or a pipeline which does not have a value, then it means whoever has approved this project, it's a wrong approval.
No. Can create a lot of a project usually can create a lot of value, and not there's not here no consideration about the value of the deliverable. Okay. The fact that the team that work on of course, every time you have a business case, someone have approved the business case. Okay. And in that case, the project can deliver a lot of value once delivered. Okay. But within the product team, the development team, when there is a project on the table, they are focusing not on the outcome. The outcome is a responsibility of outside of the team. Something of the business that say, okay, this project have a very big value for the organization. So please create a project and implement it. Within the development team, the focus is on the output. So implementing the requirement in the right way, in the right time with the received budget. And if they do these things, so if the deliverable that implement the requirement is released in the time frame and with the budget, it is a success for the development team. They are not focused on the outcome. The outcome is a responsibility outside of the team. And so for them, even if the project is put on a shelf, as you say, for them is still a success because they have implemented what was required. And the other problem is the life cycle. There's no life cycle. After the deployment, usually the team that have developed the project is allocated to the next project. It's not a team that remain in evolving the project over time.
So you're saying the team has to be part of the product once it goes to production. It should remain there to enhance their product. Then you call it data product. If they
That's one part. The ownership, the team usually is a team that is not temporarily allocated. In the case of product, not in the case of project, the team is allocated to the product and not only develop its first release, but it own the product throughout all its life cycle. So throughout all the following evolution.
No, I can challenge that. So I can challenge that with all due respect, because we are doing some interactive discussion. See, the thing is, then what we are doing is we are creating a dependency to declare our product as a data product or a project or an outcome as a data product with a strict rule that team should remain there for the life cycle of the product. It becomes a dependency, right?
It's preferable that the team for a product do not change too much during the life cycle of the product itself.
Oh,
Of
life
course,
cycle. No, but the thing
yes,
is,
a
you
product
see,
have a life cycle from the moment in which you do the first release till the moment in which you retired and decommission the product. This is the life cycle of the product, and
oh, okay.
okay, and so you have the first release, and then you have all the evolution that follow, and you continue to evolve the product if the problem that the product is trying to solve is still relevant for the business, and so you can improve the product to produce more value. And
Hmm.
during this life cycle, you want to have a dedicated team, preferably a dedicated team. Of course, in the team can be changes over time. You can also change sometime all the team, but the ownership, at least the product owner, must be remain consistent over time. Why this? Because it's not a project. It's not something that is finished when you release it.
You are
It's
absolutely
something
right.
that
You are absolutely
it's
right. When we
something.
are developing a product, it starts as a project. Of course, once you are creating your vision, right? You are saying you are pitching to your management for a budget. You are saying you are going to create a product. But to deliver a product, you need to create a project team because project teams deliver products. Now, when you say that product teams, owner team should be there, I think you are referring to the owners team, not the development team, because current era, you bring in vendors, you bring in some resources to develop something and let them go. Because if you have 20 people for run and maintenance for enhancements, maybe you will have 5 team members, not all 20 members. So I think you are referring to the data product owner team rather than data product development team. Am I right?
As I said, of course, the ownership, so the ownership team, the owner, the data product owner should remain consistent over time to the life
Absolutely.
cycle. This is the minimum requirement for me because you have to create a ownership to which you are delivering the ownership on
Absolutely.
your product. And it's possible to create ownership if you change the product owner every iteration in the development of the product itself. So this is a minimum requirement. It is
Okay.
also, I suggest, if it is possible, for very important and critical product, also to not change too much the delivery team, but have a
Mm.
delivery team that is a product team that is focused on that specific product because over time, this sense of ownership is created within the team. The team know better the problem space, so the problem that they are trying to solve. I do not have to restart from scratch to build this knowledge of the
Correct.
problem space within the team. Of course, there's the product owner that is then the final responsible to know the problem space. But if you have a team that is consistent over time, of course, you have a team that is more motivated, that better knew and have also created over time more experience of on the problem space, on the problem specific that they are trying to solve. So it is better usually. In a lot of situations, this is not possible because you have outsourced team that work on that. You have a central pool in which you take the resources. So it's not always possible, but it's suggestible when it is possible, specifically for products that have a lot of value and try to solve a very complex problem. So you already know in advance that the life cycle of the product will be very long and the product can provide a lot of value for the organization. So you want to have a dedicated and focused team with a strong sense of ownership on what they are building. So the sense of ownership is not only in the product owner, the knowledge of the problem space is not only in the product owner, but also within the team. The team is motivated and aligned to solve that problem in the best way possible for the business.
Okay. So now we are shifting our discussion good towards product ownership, right? So I think I am very much clear what data product is. And in fact, data product hierarchy taxonomy is data application and data as a product. So that's what the hierarchy which we have created or taxonomy, which I am absolutely aligned with you. Now, secondly, you are creating a dependency that you are declaring a end product as a data product if there is a consistency of data product ownership team.
Mhm.
Now, let me throw this question. How many types of data product owners are there? What I understand, what I hear everyone is everybody talks about business product owner, data product owner. I am an advocate is that we should have technical data product owner team as well. So
Yeah,
business product owner or data product owner is a one-to-one relationship, but technical data product owner is one to many because this team will be a centralized team who will be managing technical side. What is the blueprint of all the product with respect to blueprint, with respect to cyber security parameters being followed by all product, with respect to all the tools, the approved tools in your organization has been followed by everyone. Data governance policies being followed by everyone, not only followed, has been implemented as well. And this team will review those as well time to time. And this team will also be responsible, as I said, if after product life cycle, after a few years, if they see the value is no more generating, this team will decommission the products as well. So it's a
yeah,
centralized team. So
yeah.
I feel there has to be two product owners. But people says that the moment you create two product owners, who will take a decision? For me, business will take a decision. Technical product owner will give an input to the business owner to take a decision. Now, floor is yours.
Yes, of course, the responsibilities that you want to define around a data product are something that really depend by the operating model and the context of the organization. So there is not one rule that fit all the possible organization. You have to find exactly what is your model, what you want to achieve, what is your context, so the already existing operating model, and how you want to adapt it. I think that by the way, in general, is useful to have two kind of responsibility. One is related to the functionality, to the outcome, to the way in which we solve the specific problem, and this ownership on that kind of task is on the business side. No, and then you have a responsibility on on how you implement it. So basically, if you see a if we see a data product from the side, the data product have to decide why we want to implement something, what
Mhm.
we want to implement, and how we want to implement.
Yeah,
The why and the what is a responsibility of the business side. Instead, the how is a responsibility of
absolutely.
technical people. I like to say that the product ownership should be unique and should be on the business because the goal of the data product is to produce an outcome. So what is really important to decide in the data product is how and what. Then you can implement in the different way. Of course, you can implement better with better performance, better reliability, or you can implement in the worst way. So there should be there a responsible of the how part, how we implement that, the technical owner, let me say. But the technical owner respond to the business owner. The business owner decide the roadmap of the product, decide how to prioritize the different functionality that can be deployed, that can be implemented. It's responsible if the product is used or not used. So if solved the problem in the right way or not. It's responsible of the outcome. Instead, the technical owner is responsible on the output, so how we have implemented the data product. But from the external point of view, the how is a technical detail, is hidden within the
Yeah,
product. The important thing is the what, and more even the why. Why in the first place you have decided to implement that functionality, and what functionality exactly you have implemented. And this is a responsibility of the business because only the business know the problem space.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
what is the
absolutely.
problem?
Yeah. So it's a good discussion, right? Why, what, and how. This golden cycle being there. So as you mentioned that why has to be owned by business owner, 100%. How has to be owned by technical owners, 100%. But you are saying what has to be owned by 100% by business owner. That's where my debate comes in. I feel this layer, what need to be filled by, or how to say that, need to be owned by two parties. One is business, second is kind of a CDO role, because CDO will be something, or CDAOs are the something who understand what, should understand why, and should understand how it can be delivered. And that's what I feel, that is the main reason why there's a high turnover of CDOs, because that is where it lacks. Normally, currently, CDO and CIO comes from business end. They understand business very well. They understand why very well. What they can verbally say very well, but they do not know how. That is the reason I think that's the failure of CDO and CEOs right now. If CDO has to come, I'll be biased because I'm from a technical background, right? So I'll be biased a little bit on it, but I feel CDOs should be from data background, who should know better than anyone that how it can be implemented. And then they have business to say, hey, business says, hey, I want to deliver this thing. They tell why, and CDO should be able to understand why and able to convert into how. That's
Yeah.
that's where. What do you think about that? That CDO
I th-
role need to sit there?
Yeah, I think that it's perfect. I think that, of course, because the what is the middle region between the why and the how,
Yeah,
the CDO have absolutely a role there. But I think that if we are applying and managing that as a product paradigm in a distributed way,
hmm,
the CDO is a centralized function, basically, can help with his team facilitate the translation between the
correct.
why and the what,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
facilitate, but cannot own. At the end of the day, it's the business that helped by the CDO team, the technical person, the architect that decide how to translate the why in the what, but the responsibility at the end to say, okay, why we implement this? We implement this because we have this big problem in business term. And what we implement this, and that with this prioritization. The fact that at the end of the day,
agree.
with all the consultation, the support of the CDO, the architects, we decide to prioritize in that way, and to do the thing in that way is a responsibility not of the CDO. The last call is the last call of the business that have to say,
Absolutely
because
agree.
otherwise there is a relationship within the data product, but within the data management, it is a customer supplier. So I specify generally why we should solve some problem. Then you come with the results, and I can say, no, this is not what I want exactly. Instead, the business have to specify, to take ownership and say, because we have this problem, we need to do this, that, and that. These are the three priority, and we need
Hmm,
to do that in that way, not technical way. There's no
absolutely.
technical detail there, no? Okay. But it's, for example, is we need to calculate this KPI in this way to solve this problem that is
Hmm,
important. And
yeah.
this is a call that the business have to do. It's not something that a technical person can do. The CDO is there to help in the translation, to facilitate, no? Because if the business define the what without knowing the underlying technical architecture, maybe design something that is useful but is not feasible.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
the CDO is there to help in arriving to a what that is impactful in terms of the why, but is also feasible in terms of the what,
I,
of the how, sorry.
no, no, this is absolutely going into the right direction. The four pillars which I normally advocate is question, answers, action, and value, right? So I think action and value can sit into why, that what value you need and why you need, because this is the value you need. Action, this action I need to do it. That's why I need this action. Now, what can be question and answers? That okay, I need to do this action. That is the reason. That's the why I'm doing it, because there's a value. Now, what comes? What is
Yeah,
the question and answers? That okay, yeah, I want to. Why is I want to optimize my campaigns, for example. That's a why. How now? What need to be do? Now, what need to be done so this why can be answers, right? Now what comes, okay, campaign need to be optimized. Okay, let's do that. Let's do targeted campaigning rather than generic campaigning. That's a what business comes and tell to the CDO that this is what you need to do it. Now it's
Yeah.
CDO's job to understand why and what and get it done by the how team. And the CDO should be good enough and literate enough and experienced enough to select the right technology. See, selecting technology is not good enough. Your technology should be good enough to meet the ROI actually. It should
Yeah.
generate the enough value so you can map with the ROI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me very important that if we are talking about a product, all these stages that goes from the why to the what are not managed through end-off from one team to another team. It's not a different team that work on these things separated, no, with the business, some very high-level business people that decide the why, then some more C-level, middle-level business people define the what together with the CDO, and then the technical team do the implementation and do the how, as a three separate team that end off requirement or documents to describe the why from the business to the middle-level manager, the what from the middle manager to the developer team. No, I want to have one team with one cohesive team with all these different personality and profiles that work together to solve the problem. Of course, with different responsibility, but are not three different team that pass documents or do meetings. Are one team that work with the problem at hand. The business people, the business person specify the why together with the technical people, and the architect decide the what, and then the technical people do the implementation. But everybody is on the same boat, work on the same room, let me say, with the same final goal. That's important because otherwise it's the traditional approach. No, it's not a data product. It's an object that is delivered by three different team or three different roles and responsibility. There is a lot of finger point, now me and you, but you mean that I have understood that it's your fault because the technical stuff does not work, but you have not specified really good the requirement. No, the product team have one mission. There is a problem that they want to solve, and they want to solve in the best way possible for the potential user. That's the goal. They are already in this mission with different expertise.
Yeah, while I'm giving a thought of this question, answer, action, and value, let me rephrase myself for our audience is, I think the value generation can be a why, question and answers can sit into the what, and actions can into the how. Because action is totally CDO call. Technical is very technical, how you will implement the thing. So I think I've just given a rethought on it. So that is how I think this is a brilliant session, because nowadays people are really struggling to understand what this data product. So what else? So we have a time check. We are already 50 minutes there. So I will take your 5 to 10 minutes more. What other things you feel? See, okay, let me bring that. So I normally work on five pillars to define a product, right? Like as I mentioned, question answers, action, and revenue value generation. This is a pillar. So now I have another total formula is 4x4. And normally I call it 4x4 formula. The second one, which I just mentioned, there's a second what? A second four pillars. The first is what are the challenges? I feel there are four kind of challenges CDO or people should look into it. First one is the product which are sitting on the shelves.
Yeah,
What to do with that, right? Second one, sorry, let me put this four pillars. First 4x4. Second one is projects or product which are suffering. You implemented very good. Now you feel they become slower. Optimization is not there. So that's the second piece. First is products sitting on the shelf. Second, products in production are not on shelf. People are using, but proper ROI is not matching. They're not behaving correctly. Third one. Third one is you want to do something. You have an idea, but you are not aware which technology to use because AI is changing every day. So that's a third one. Fourth one for me is all those opportunities that which you are not aware because every day so many things are coming. You are not even aware. So 4x4 is first four is shelf, products in production have problems, You have the idea, you do not know what to do. And fourth one, you don't even know what to do. That's first four. Second four is question, answer, action, and revenue. So that's what I call 4x4 formula for me. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
it's a very complex problem, no? Because
Yeah.
you have all these dimensions that you have to cover when you implement a product. For
Yeah.
me, the first one is, of course, the problem that you build product that then put on the shelf.
Hmm.
This is a very important thing when we talk about product, no? Because product, respect to project, are not focused on doing the thing in the right way. Yes, they want to do also the thing in the right way, but the first focus is on doing the right thing in the first place, no? So it's important to generate the output, but the obsession of the product team is to generate the outcome. So they are working to do everything is possible to resolve the problem. If the problem is really relevant, okay, they are working to solve the problem in a way that the product is not put on the shelf, because they are producing real value, and the real value is measured by adoption, the fact that it is used to solve real problems with the organization. So they are not focused like in a project team, within a project team, not outside the project team. We are giving for granted that the why is a good why. We have defined a good why. We have defined a good problem. But in the project team, the main focus is not on the fact that the product is not put, the application is not put on the shelf. The focus is to remain on time and on budget. So this is a very big difference. So in the product team, the obsession is create something that the user love, because that solves a specific problem that they have in the right way. Okay, but the first thing is doing the right thing, implementing the right functionality that help the customer and create adoption in the customer. This is a very important point. The other point that are more related to technology, no? So the fact that okay, the product is used, but we have a problem because it's not performing, or maybe we want to implement something, but we are not really sure what kind of technology we can use because there are so many technology, or maybe we are not the unknown. There are also technology that enable some possibility that we do not know to have. This is a problem that for me have two types of solution. One is within the team. Of course, the team is cohesive team that do in a iterative way also research, to improve the product, not only in terms of functionality, but because it's stick to the product. It's their own interest to reduce the technical debt, to make the product performing, because their goal is adoption. So if they are resolving the right problem, but not in the right way, and the product is not available 50% of the time, it's impossible to have adoption. It's very difficult to have adoption. No? So one thing, reduce the technical debt. Be sure that you can release a new feature in a very fast way because you have not to deal with a lot of technical debt. Try to find the best technology that you can use to implement your functionality. Are all means to reach your goal, that is adoption. No? Because a product that is terrible from a technical standpoint, there is no trust in the consumer, and probably at the end of the day, the adoption will be very low. The other thing is, of course, have some time to research. This is more difficult within the team of product, because the team of product have a limited time during the day, and they have to figure out technological stuff, implementing the stories, and helping customer that maybe have a problem with the actual version of the product. So there is not a lot of time to do research. So research is something that can be centralized in some kind of supporting team, architectural team, federated governance team that can propose some idea. So when there is this new technology, I can do the enabling to the different product team to tell, okay, we have a study and there is this possibility. Why not adopting it? And this is one part of the contribution that comes from the outside to the product team. No, some other product team, governance team that define policy, that suggest the technology to use, that do enabling to the product team, to all that research activity that maybe is not feasible by each product team, but can be centralized and then spread across the product team. The other stuff that is important from the technological point of view, for me, is very important to run this initiative that implement a multiple data product, to have a data product developer platform. No, it's like an internal developer software platform that provide all that functionality that data product can leverage to implement their features. No, so for example, if you need to do authentication, security, encryption, you need to do offloading from an SIP system, and a lot of data product have this common concern. Why to give the responsibility to implement this stuff to each product and not put them in common in a platform that can provide this capability as a service? No, so you can have all the stuff to implement a secure way to expose your data in the platform, the self-service platform. You can have all the technology to do the right encryption or manage the durability and the backup of the data and whatever. So this is another thing that help in the technical excellence, no, in the part that is more technological related during the implementation of the data product. Two things: a governance that push the boundaries, doing the research, proposing policies to govern the product, and the platform that provide common functionality to reduce the time needed by the product team to implement a specific feature.
Awesome. Again, we have a time check, but although we don't have a time, but I have a very important question to ask on data quality for data products, because last time I think it's a known fact that in centralized, getting a budget for data governance with addition of data quality was a big headache, because when you go and start implementing end-to-end all standard of data quality for every project, it becomes so expensive. Nobody want to budget for that, right? But now since this small data products coming in, what is the importance of data quality, and up to which level of, I would say, which level of success you need to implement each and every piece of data quality in every product? Do you need to implement everything, or you want to implement data quality based on the use case?
Yeah, I like to talk about the data product quality, not just because the quality of the product is not only related to the quality of the data, but is also related, for example, of the availability of the product or all the other technical
data
aspects.
Quality, because data product quality, you are saying. Very good.
Data product quality, because you can have very good data in terms of accuracy of the data, but maybe the data product is as a service that exposes this data is not reliable. So maybe the data is gold, but the user is not sure when he can connect, take the data, because the product most of the time is not up and running. This is a problem. So there is the general quality. Quality is fundamental for a data product, because data quality and in general, the data product quality is fundamental, because if the goal of the data product team is to increase the adoption, and you are producing a product that is not good in terms of quality, who is going to buy the product? Who is going to use it, the product? Who is going to trust the product? So you have to implement in a built-in way, by design, data quality within the data product. It's a responsibility of the data product team, because this team want to create adoption, and for having adoption, you have to create a good quality product in terms of quality of data and quality of services that expose this data. Of course, data quality is not an absolute. What is the level? What is the right level of quality that you have to ensure? Depends by the problem that the product try to solve. So, for example, in some cases, having a good performance, a freshness of the data is more important to have data super accurate, because for that kind of use cases, it's not important to have very precise data. I can accept some degree of error or data that is not in a good shape, but I want to have a very fast update on the data every time it changes. In another case, the most important thing is to have data super precise respect to the processes in the real world. So depends by the use case. And this is something that the business owner have to set the level that is acceptable for that specific problem, to to be sure that the data can support the solution of that specific problem. No?
And there has to be parameters. As you mentioned, there has to be parameters, because when you go and ask the business, although the business need a data overnight, but they will say we need a quality for a near to the real time. So I think there has to be parameter when someone comes and say, hey, because everybody will say that I need 100% quality, but that should not be the case. There should be a
it's impossible. It's impossible. You have to ask to your customer what you want to check in terms of quality, because we can check a million things. So when we say quality, what kind of dimension of quality you want to check exactly?
Which parameter, which field or which entity component you really need accurate. Everything cannot be accurate.
And what does it mean for you, accurate? It means that there is a referential integrity with other data set, the precision of the number is right.
What action you need to, actually, what action you need to do based on the action. If your action is to save the life, yes, the quality has to be very high. But
that's the second aspect. So what you want to check and what is the expected level of quality of the check that you want to have. No? So these are the two things that the business have to answer in terms of, okay, to consider the data product accurate to solve my problem, I needed to check this thing. So these are the things that I want to check, this data set, this field within this data set. And this is the level of the result of the check that I can consider tolerable. If we are out of this level, there is a risk. There is a risk for the business, for the decision making. And in fact, it's useful in my experience to speak at the business and say, we need to follow in data quality a risk-driven approach. So we need to ask us, okay, this data product solve this problem. What are the risks if the data that the data product manage and use to solve this problem are wrong? No? What can generate this risk? So we need to prioritize basically the quality check that we want to do. Not all quality check are the same. Okay, something is very important because maybe you can save a life. There is a data that is based to take decision to save a life. Something is useful. Something is nice to have. Something is not relevant in any way. We are trying to push a quality that is even more that is required to solve the case. So we need to classify. And how you classify this? You classify in terms of risk for me. In terms of risk of having wrong data, no? Having some data wrong is more impactful. Other data are less impactful. So we need to prioritize. And also the data quality is an incremental thing, as you see, no? Because we start to take the 20% more impactful quality check that we need to have in place to guarantee the relevance of the data set. And then when we have solved that, we decide if we want to move to the next 20% and how deep we want to go in the implementation of this data quality in order to reach the final quality level.
Yeah, this discussion is going so good. I don't want to close it, but I want to give a prospect here, right? That I feel once you start a project, you always have to gather the requirement, which a new concept coming, information product canvas. Last time we had business product canvas. Now information product canvas coming, where you understand what requirement is. We won't go into details. But after that, I feel there has to be a graph theory as well. We won't go into graph theory, but in graph theory, we identify entities or a concept and we join those with the relationships. I feel once you have those graph of your product, which you're going to build, in that graph, you can add the criticalities, which entities, which relationships are so critical, and you have to have up to certain level of every relationship, and every entity or concept can have a different level of quality standards score. And I think based on that, you can implement your quality. Okay, I think I've already.
But that's the conceptual model, the ontology, the knowledge graph. So this is a topic for another call. But I love this topic. I love this topic because we have focused a lot on data product. Data product is the foundation of the information architecture. On top, you have metadata, ontology, and you build basically all your information architecture as a knowledge graph. And I totally agree. You can put this constraint in terms of quality, not in the single data product, but in the general concept. And then all the product that implemented that concept can derive so their constraint in terms of quality by the conceptual model. Yes, I agree. 100%.
Again, thank you so much, Andrea. Pleasure
you,
to
Mustafa.
have
Thank
you.
you.
I think we should. I think I'm going to book you another slot very soon. This discussion is going very good, and I think you also love talking about data. And I know I got another passionate guy.
I love to talk about. I love to talk about data.
Yeah. I'm take care.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bye bye, bye bye. Have a
Bye.
nice one. Bye bye.